Welcome back. Nasa Pilipinas na nga ang isa sa mga top second-generation basketball players ng bansa. Kabilang ngayon sa Gilas Cadets ang dating US NCAA player na si Kobe Paras, anak ng PBA great at poging-poging si Benji Paras. Kobe now joins us here in the studio to tell us more about this segment of his journey in his basketball career. Kobe, welcome back to the Philippines.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Score. Good to see you here again. Okay. Let's start things off with the most recent activity. You had your first game finally with the Cadets in the Chooks to Go Filoil Flying V Premier Cup. It's a long name.
Yeah.
But I know you were so anxious to finally get things going. Bitin yung practice before the first game. You only had a few days. But what was the whole experience like, finally having to play a tournament again in the Philippines?
It was fun because the last time I played here again, in front of the people was, I think, finals namin sa NC.
Ganun lang katagal?
Yeah,
wow,
so
okay.
kalaban pa namin sila Arvin nun. Okay. So it was just, it felt good playing, especially in Filoil because I basically started there.
Right.
So it just felt great playing with the team, and it was the first game though. So I was actually surprised that we did well because just like what you said, we didn't have that much practice, and we went up against a team, the championship team, which is Ateneo.
Yeah.
So it was a great first game for us, and I'm glad nga na nakalaban namin muna Ateneo, so at least we know what to work on next for our next game.
Take us back to how this decision came to be. I know this all had to do as well with the departure of Reggie Theo as your coach.
Yeah.
Dapat maging coach mo sa season. And then from that time period on, paano nag-usap kayo with your dad and the decision to come home and hook up with Chooks to Go and play for Gilas Cadets?
Well, everything was last minute. No?
Okay.
Just like what you said, everything happened kasi pag-alis ni Coach Reggie. So the plan was really to play for that year's season, but when he left, I made the decision, nakausap ko si Dad, then when we figured out na gusto ko talaga umalis, Dad called sila Boss Ronald, and then they gladly helped us right away. So I'm just glad na nandun nga yung Chooks to Go para sa akin kasi nga ever since nandun sila. So just like last year sa 3-on-3 Jones Cup and SEA Games. So hopefully this year magawa ko ulit parang dati, but right now for the Chooks to Go Filoil Flying V, and then hopefully sa 3-on-3, and then for whatever tournaments meron pa sa Chooks to Go.
Well, looking back, it was actually we call it a very interesting ride you've had in the US since high school, and we followed your journey with Steve Angeles there in LA, since you came there and getting recruited and moving on around. What's it been like for you? How would you say you've matured as a player and as a young man also, because you're all alone there.
Exactly.
Unlike here, all the players have so much support from their family and their friends and managers, but ikaw mag-isa ka lang dun. How was that whole journey like for you so far?
It was crazy, just because moving into the States alone at the age of 15, that's not an everyday thing for a 15-year-old to be alone. So there were a lot of temptations, but at the same time, I learned to mature, not just as a basketball player, but as a man. So there are a lot of things in life that I learned, and the biggest thing I learned in the States is basically patience. Okay. Your time's gonna come no matter what happens, and God always has a plan. So it might not be the plan I want, but it's, in His eyes, it's the plan He has for me.
Is it where you are now? Because there are a lot of people, of course you have your critics, but there are a lot of people on your side as well. When you said, I'm going pro, of course, all these different speculations. We get it now. You didn't mean NBA, okay?
Yeah.
But remember, looking back lang in your high school days, you were up there in terms of talent-wise.
Yeah.
So, nandun yun eh. I guess this is your point, the patience. So, sometimes it takes a while for some players to get their break, to get their time, the right coach, right system. Is that what you're looking at now in terms of giving it the right amount of time to wait for the right situation to develop?
Just because when I was in the States, like you saw my first year, hindi talaga ako naglaro, and I was promised to play, and then my second year I had to sit out, and my coach got fired.
Right.
So it was just a lot of signs for me to, especially sa States, may nangyayari pa with the FBI and the college kids getting caught. Exactly. So I didn't want to get caught up in that situation. So I'm just happy now that I can focus on Chooks to Go and Gilas, just because sa States hindi nga ako nakakalaro. At least na yun, para sa Filoil, I get to play and I get to practice, with my teammates.
It's been a while since you've been in a competitive team, competing with significant playing time. I guess high school was the last. Kasi
basically,
with in Nebraska, you wouldn't consider that, what you normally play, right?
Yeah.
For you. So how does it feel now that you got that first game in, that amount of minutes, that much run, and that competitive competition you have?
I just feel relief, there's a lot of weight that just shrugged off my shoulder just because na-miss ko nga talaga maglaro.
Yeah, iba yung practice di ba? Ang layo ng ensayo sa laro
Exactly, and especially masakit pa every time, like every game the coach tells you to get ready, you're gonna play. So just working out as hard as I can and not getting what I want. That's what really hurt. But what I realize now, whatever happens for a reason, and I just have to face adversity face to face and just go through it.
Okay, so now you're with the Gilas Cadets. It's an interesting lineup. You're technically a big man. You play 3 or 4. So how are you adjusting to this role? I remember we talked during the press conference before your first game, and you knew that was going to be the adjustment. In the States, wing ka, dito mapipili ka siguro mag-4, minsan siguro mag-5. But how is the adjustment so far, and what are Coach Josh and Coach Chot expecting from you to contribute in what kind of a specific role as well?
Well, now since hindi ako yung pinakabata sa team, they know that my role is gonna change. Kasi when you saw sa Jones Cup and SEA Games, I was more of a role player. Well, just Jones Cup, I was more of a role player. Pero pagdating sa SEA Games, I kind of played my game the way I wanted. So I was just really fortunate nga na bigyan ako ng time sa SEA Games. So I'm glad here naman sa Filoil, binigyan ako ng same time. But now I have to play my game the way I want. So me, I'm basically a scorer, and before I was just a role player. So at least now I can do the things I've always wanted. But at the same time, I just have to pace myself because what I learned from the first game, masyadong nagigil. But you know, you learn from every game. So at least ngayon, sa next game namin, I can adjust and just do something different.
You know, I remembering the last time you were in a competitive situation and at your peak in terms of being one of the best in the team was in Cathedral and with Middlebrooks Academy, the AAU team. What have you improved on since then? I mean, who is Kobe Paras on the court now since those times when you were very competitive back then, and then what you're going to be showing us now?
Just maturity. Kasi dati when I wasn't playing my own spot, parang nagagalit ako. Like in Gilas, I was kind of sad that I was playing a 3 and 4. But at least now I can accept the fact that even though I play 4, I can still play my game. And there's a better advantage kasi baka mas malaki may guard sa akin. So at least now I can just play my game that I really play. Pero it may be a different position, but like what I said before, para sa bayan naman.
Right. How does it feel playing against some of your peers who you've played against in high school? Like for one, Richie, who's your teammate, we'll get to that in a bit. Pero yung mga kalaban ninyo, mga kabatch mo na ito mga ito, di ba?
So it just feels good kasi nga sa States, mag-isa lang ako. At least now pagbalik ko, kalaban ko naman sila ulit. So it was just great na kalaban ko rin sila 30 for the first game. So it was pretty cool kasi kwentuhan lang kami noon before the game. And pag game time, seryoso lang kami. So I just can't wait nga kasi kalaban namin next Lasal and then I think San Beda.
Right. Well, Richie is an interesting bit because both Richie and Prince nakaabot kayo sa Lasal Green Hills. And I remember he was saying na you didn't get the championship you wanted back then. You're hoping that this is a big chance to get that title together now. But what's it like? I know you've seen him, of course, when you travel back here in your vacations and all. But iba your teammates again. Kamusta so far yung reviving that teammate vibe with
It's good kasi nga every time I make friends, I turn them into family. And even though we don't see each other for a long time, parang nagkita lang kami kahapon. So it just feels good now we have that kind of connection. And not just with sila Prince and Richie, but with the other teammates.
Right. Well, this 23 for 23 lineup is very interesting. A lot of people are so excited for it. Ikaw, how do you feel when you saw the lineup? And as well, now that you're playing with them, how do you see this potential of keeping this together, grooming this team, making them compete and train and get good enough in the next 5 years?
I'm just happy just because kakastart lang kami, no? So basically I practiced with the team 2 or 3 times and we just had our first game. So there are a lot of people who are judging us, but at the same time, this is a new team and we're not getting ready for a tournament soon. We're getting ready for the 2023. So I'm just glad now we're preparing now instead of preparing later on.
How does team management and Coach Josh and Coach Chot see this tournament? Is it a first step, try things out, or do they want to compete and try to win every single game?
Of course, if you're wearing the Gilas Pilipinas jersey, you always have to play your hardest. So of course they always tell us to play hard, but at the same time, it's a new team. Parang hindi nga kami nagpa-practice madami, but at the same time, it's not an excuse to slack or show no effort. So para sa amin naman, as players, I think it's a time to improve. Because most of them, they play sa Filoil then with their mother teams. So at least na yun, I tell them naman na wag mo naman pilitin, but at the same time, just go hard and get better.
What's the family support been like? And now they can watch you matagalan. I know there are a few times that your brother flew out to the States, your dad is all watch you, pero ngayon, they can be there as long as hindi masyado busy si Benji kasi artista din yan.
Yeah. It just feels good just because parang nga sabi mo sa States, all they do is just watch online basically. So at least na yun, they can watch me live and iba talaga pag nanonood ng live kesa sa TV.
Right. Well, siguro last na lang, your message to your fans, a lot of them out there share your dream. They dream with you. They're rooting for you. They're cheering for you. What do you want to say to these guys out there who've been always...
I just want to thank you guys for the support since day one. No matter what I choose in life, you guys are still there. And if you have a dream, just chase it. Don't let anyone or anything stop you. Kasi ang dami mo rin papagdaan sa buhay na to. You're going to face adversity, but you got to face it man to man. And just go through it. Just go with the flow and just stay on your own wave.
Yeah, very well said. The more mature Kobe Paras. Well, thanks for joining us and see you again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For more sports updates, keep watching The Score. And don't forget to subscribe.